Hello, everyone. This is Andrew Taylor. Thanks for getting on. We have Gerry Rufino with us today and Alondra Topete, who's new to Las Vegas. You and Josh moved here. You're Nevadians now.
Yes.
So welcome to the state.
Thank you, Drew.
So real quick, if you're watching this, if you can comment, we're constantly trying to use our channel to recruit people, just for everybody watching, and give out free training. And this YouTube marketing company said, if you get more comments on your YouTube channel, then it'll actually generate more traffic because there's more engagement. So if you can comment, please do, so we can recruit more people. We're going to tell you guys about Gerry and his success here. We think he's going to relate to a lot of people. Alondra, have you read how mean some of the comments are?
They're usually pretty positive, but some get pretty savage.
I wanna respond to all the people. I actually was going to say the other day, because someone wrote, like, your podcast sucks. And then I'm like, I was going to put, hey, at, his name, at the guy living with his mom. Can you please send us a copy of your podcast so we can send you a review? And then I deleted it. I mean, I decided not to say it on here because I'm like, it's going to get me in trouble or something. And then it's going to go even further. And then it's better just not to say nothing. So if you're watching, if you can give a good comment, how about a positive one?
Comment below if these podcasts have helped you in whatever way they have.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so Gerry, tell us a little bit about how you ended up here and about your past and your past experience with insurance and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So first and foremost, thank you so much for having me here today. It's truly an honor. I remember when I was first looking into Family First, I told my wife one day, man, I really want to do a podcast with those guys one day. And she's like, you probably will. So it was really funny how it's now come full circle so quickly.
How long ago?
Oh, man, I started part-time in November.
Nice.
So I did insurance for about on and off for a year, about 5 years ago with a previous company. Started at pretty low comps, just wasn't very successful. Left there with quite a bit of debt. We were getting married that year, so we had like no money putting
Where'd you get married?
Down in Canyon Lake, right around Austin, Texas.
How much that cost?
Probably right over 20 grand.
20 grand. Dude, weddings, it must be a good business, huh?
It's a great business. Yeah, now that I say it out loud, I'm like, man, we could do a lot of money with 20 grand, but it was one of the most...
It was worth it though, huh? Your wife's watching.
It was really good for us. So
I'm just kidding.
No, but dude, so what's funny about that is I only had a couple rules about that. I was like, dude, it's your wedding. Like I only want a videographer, tres leches cake. I wanted the cake. And I wanted a place because I have family in Mexico.
Does that mean 3 chocolate cake?
3 milk.
Drew, it's the best chocolate. It's the best cake ever. It's like moist.
It's like 3 different milks, man.
3 different, like what, goat milk, cow milk?
No, it's like condensed milk. It's like all those other milks.
The milks that aren't good for you, pretty much. But that was a rule. And the last thing was I was born in Mexico, and I have family in Mexico that wanted to come, and she had family all over the United States. So I wanted to make it a 2-3 day kind of event where they didn't just come in and leave because, it took sacrifice to get there.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. So that happened. We got in some debt with the wedding.
How many years ago was this?
We've been married for 4 years.
So 4 years ago, you got into insurance.
Yeah, I have a master's in education, decided to leave working at the University of Texas. Loved education, but just wanted something better for my life. And at the time, that was the dream. Little did I know what would happen, but...
What happened?
Just wasn't very successful. We would door knock in these small little towns, door to door. I didn't mind doing the work. I just didn't fully understand how even insurance worked or the product. I thought I was going to be a millionaire off a 30% commission.
Did you think that was high?
For what I was making in education, yeah. I was like, hey, if I go out there and,
How do we get people in education to make more?
It's a great question.
Think about how important that is,
More now than ever. I mean, I've had so many friends tell me now after pandemic that educators, teachers are well underpaid because now they're trying to teach their kids, right? And that's been super difficult for them. So,
Oh, shoot. I didn't think about that. I've talked to a bunch of people, parents that are going crazy, though, trying to teach their kids.
yeah, it's really difficult. It's probably one of the hardest jobs out there, except we just take it for granted because we've all gone through
What grade did you teach?
So I did a little bit of a different. I wasn't a teacher. I got my master's degree in student affairs. So I focused on the administrative side. I really wanted to be a dean of students. I was a first generation Latino college student.
Nice.
So I really just wanted like to lead the way.
So first person in your family. Were you the first person in your family to get a degree?
Mm-hmm.
Nice, man.
Yeah. My sister followed. She actually followed me to the same college.
So you set the example.
Yeah. I mean, I had the opportunity. That was the biggest thing. Like my parents sacrificed everything for my sister and I to go to college. So in a way, my way of giving it back is coming to FFL they don't have a retirement plan. Like there's nothing there.
Dude, how common is it that people want to take care of their parents and they do really well here? That's what you did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because similar story. You know, my parents, they sacrificed everything. Parents came from, well, my dad was born here, but born and raised in Mexico. They were raised in Mexico. My mom was both. And they came here and they just worked their butt off. You know, my dad went to the oil fields to try to just give us everything, you know, missed out on childhoods. And I think that's what, you know, what's my motivator to keep going in this industry is because, you know, I want to be able to have those missed time, like all that time that we miss from them working, to be able to just spend more quality time with family. Now everybody's grown. There's more thing to do.
Now your dad's killing it selling.
Now my dad's
he's coming
selling.
in to be on the podcast. He's going to do $20K and come in and do the podcast.
Yes. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He's been watching for a whole year. He got his license and he's like, okay, this is nuts. And now he's recruited a couple people from his work because he works in the car dealership. And they're like, man, you're stupid. How do you watch your daughter just like take off this year and you just barely not want to get going? But they're excited. You know, a lot of people with great work ethic that are in every industry just need to know more about this.
But that was my thing too, though. I wanted my mom raised 4 kids, widowed, no job, and I'm watching her take care of us like, you know, like a boss, like nothing, not a big deal to her. We had a great childhood. But I'm like, dude, how cool is it to take care of your parents after they took care of you and do special things for them, you know? But I love that. So that's something that's motivating you to do well.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, you know, to me, family, it's so funny, man. Family's literally first. There's always been anybody that I think you ask in my life. That's just how it's been. I think we all make mistakes and sometimes we take each other for granted, but being in this business has taught me that we're on borrowed time. Like every day is just a gift to be here. So,
why do you say that?
Man, because I've already had my first death claim. Like I've only been in this business a couple months, and a week later after I met with a family, I had a death claim. So you meet with folks, right? And you see how many prescriptions drugs are on and how many things they have to overcome. Like it kind of makes you put your everything in perspective.
And you see how scary it is to leave nothing behind.
Yeah.
Dude, the field is like a constant reminder that life is short. Huh.
It makes you mature and see things very, very different that maybe other people like around you have no idea, and you're like, you have no idea like how lucky you are. Like you have no reason to complain. Like there's nothing, you know, why do you see life like that? You have no idea what hard life is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and just to add on to that, guys, like I've been married for 4 years. Happily married for 4 years, super blessed. My wife and I, after a year of being married, we decided we wanted to start a family. I feel like I was lied through in elementary school because it was not that easy for us. It actually took us about 3 years to finally get pregnant, and now we have, you know, the real reason why I think I came to this world, and we have an 8-month-old. And
boy or girl?
Girl. Game changer.
Yeah, I got a 10-month-old boy, man, and
Cutie.
Awesome, right?
Yeah, her name's Camila. She's the reason I do everything I do, and you know, now I understand how my parents could make all those sacrifices. Because at first I'm like, why did they do this? And from the minute that she was born, like, I mean, when my wife was pregnant, I was like, is this real? And it was, obviously, but once she came out, man, it just it's like a light came over me, and it's just like, cool, I got a new purpose now. So it was perfect timing.
What's legit?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you started 4 years ago in insurance. Did you stay in insurance, or what happened?
No, I barely made it in the other company, close to a year. I had a buddy recruiting me to go into working with one of the largest rental car companies out there. I never wanted to do that because I was like, dude, I have a college degree. Like, I have two undergraduate degrees and a master's degree. Like, I'm not going to go do that. But I got to a pretty low place in life, and I interviewed. And 4 years later, literally 4 years, I was a top performing manager there and did very well. But the pay and just the future just didn't add up. So, funny story, Eric Kamadi actually was the guy that married my wife and I. We've been friends for a long time.
No way.
Yeah.
Small world.
Very small world. Eric's been in a lot of weddings with people that we know. So,
Did he actually marry all of them? Is he like an ordained minister or something?
probably. Well, he has to be because he married me. I hope he is. No, he did mine. And so I've known Eric for a long time. And last summer, we were literally hanging out. My wife was pregnant. He brought his kiddos out to we lived in an apartment, to the apartment pool. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, man, what are you doing nowadays? How's business? And honestly, he had no intention of recruiting me because I said, hey, I'm never going back into this. My wife is like a hard no. And I'm a hard no after those experiences. But then you talk about...
What did your wife say? She said, just hell no, you're not going back?
Dude, she was like, well, I said no. And then social media came.
Ooh.
And he told me something about like 100%. And I said, wait, I'm not that good at math, but 100 is better than 30. So I just kept asking him, what's the catch, dude? And I just literally would be at work looking at Facebook. And I'm like, dude, I know that person. Like, literally, I actually know that name. They're great, but I could probably do that too. And then that's when I literally called him. And I knew my baby was going to have to go to daycare. And daycare is not cheap. And I said, hey, I'm looking to make an extra $2-3 grand a month. Like, I'm going to...
Part-time.
Very part-time. I had let my insurance license lapse, actually. I didn't even know what continuing
But you're
education
really
was.
smart. So how fast did you get it back?
Dude, I passed it again, like 2 weeks later. Like, I didn't even study. I just took it. It was a miracle. Legit. But I didn't know that you had to pay a fine for letting it lapse.
How much?
In Texas, it was $500, which, by the way, like, at the time, I'm like, man, am I really going to make this money
Were you
back?
like the worst person at your old company?
Oh, I'm not going to say the worst because I actually produced. You know, most people got...
Where would you rank out of, like, top, or like on 100%, 1 out of 10 scale? Where would you rank 10 being the best?
Dude, I had to have been bottom 10, like bottom 10%.
So you were a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, at least for my expectations, I was really bad. Like, for them, it's like, oh, you're producing, and I did have some good weeks where I wrote 10,000 a week, but long haul, my goal was to be successful, and I didn't do that here. I didn't do that there, but I can do that here. So,
and then what happened? You wanted to make $2 to $3 grand here, and what happened?
Dude, I got licensed. Eric just kind of let me do my thing, and Ron let me do my thing, and I just bought leads, put it on a credit card, went out that weekend. November 15th was like the first time I actually went out there. Sold $8 grand that Saturday. And they kept calling me, and they're like, dude, that's really good. And I'm like, yeah, but this is not in my bank account yet. So call me later on in the week, and then we'll see.
The
how
next
real
day
it
it
is.
was in your bank account.
Yeah, it took a couple of days, but it was very quick.
What happened when you saw it in your bank account?
I almost had a heart attack.
Are you serious?
Well, I woke up, and I was like, dude, like, to put this in perspective, like, full transparency, like, at my old business, I was very successful. I was a high-ranking manager, and, like, if I made $3,500, $4,000 for the month, it was like, dude, you did well. You have.
Did
a
your
great
wife
future.
work?
My wife still works. She works at a university, so she's still full time.
How was that for her when she saw that deposit?
So here's what's cool. I opened up a new account, so she didn't see it right away. So then one day I'm like, do you know like what we got deposited? And she's like, no. So then I opened the account, and she's like, whoa.
Let me guess. She goes, "You're selling insurance now."
Dude, no. So it was so crazy because she was like, that's cool. But then we actually went and saw you guys. So I got in a car. Imagine the pressure I had because they're like, Eric was super cool. He's like, hey, like, take your time, do your thing. If you're ready, you're ready. If you want to do this part-time forever, do it part-time forever. And that's what I love about this business, right? It's your own thing. But I got in a car with Dave, Ron, and Eric to go to Houston to see you guys at a conference. And after that conference, I came home and I was like, okay, I'm quitting my job. And my wife was like, oh, slow down. We haven't thought this through yet. That's how bad of like a taste in our mouth we had from the last previous experience. Because we did have some early success there, but not anything like this. And then we put it together and I wrote about issued pay $12,000 in November, $13,000 in December. And that's when we decided to make the jump full time starting this year.
And then what?
I didn't, it was easy. Like I just called people. And like, I think we overcomplicate things so much in this business. It's like, I love the simplicity of it, right? It's like, buy leads, call the people, like everybody. I don't have a phone script. Like I really like, that's why I'm super excited because there's so much room for growth. Like I just talk to people. Like I have a general idea of what the script is, but I just speak from the heart. And then I, just worked hard, issued paid $30K in January and went to convention and I was like super pumped. And then February numbers came out and I issued paid 23. So I'm just trying to be like everybody else and trying to get to that, 40, 50 mark.
Yeah, it's funny. We always say common sense is not so common. But if you can just literally keep it as simple as possible, you win. But if you do what I did is I'm like, it can't be this simple. I have to keep talking or say something else or do something else. And then all of a sudden I screw everything up. I talk my way out of getting sales.
You sure you want that one? No,
Yeah.
You're right. Okay. Yeah, no.
All right. So you have written what since going full time on the 1st of this year?
To date, just over 60 grand.
And what have you been paid?
In deposits, a little over 45.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Like, not about money.
Dude, that's the blessing. I think it's come to me so quickly. The money's great. It's not sitting in an account. It's just going back into our business.
And paying your lifestyle and personal expenses and helping your kid and doing all this other stuff, right?
Dude, it's funny you say that because I told my wife, I'm like, you need to give me a number, that this is the number you need in the account. We'll get that number. We'll be good. You'd be surprised that the number went up $2K from January to February and our expenses didn't change. So I was like, why are you making the number go higher? So she's definitely a lot happier with that. So, but what I truly love about it the most, man, is I've met some cool clients. Like I have a couple clients already that like, I send them a card and it has a picture of my family as a thank you card. And every single time they usually receive it, they just thank me. And they're like, dude, you have a beautiful family. Like, cause I'm very transparent about why I do what I do. My dad had a double bypass surgery, December of 2019. And we don't have a retirement plan. We didn't have life insurance. We're not ready for that. So it kind of like hit me. Like, I'm like, I need to do something that's going to really get my family out of a huge hole if we get there.
Now, let's hit on the power of part-time. You started part-time.
Yes.
I started part-time. You started part-time.
Mm-hmm.
Alondra, what was your part-time like?
Well, see, my part-time is I'm super young. So I was 21 at the time when I had just got started with FFL. And I was still serving.
Where?
I was at BJ's. I was a server at BJ's.
Was it fun?
I mean, you worked 8 hours, but Drew, I'm 21 years old. I thought I was like, I make like $250 a night. And I'm like, oh man, what a great day it was. But it was dreadful. So when I started doing insurance, I'm like, oh, this is going to just supplement because of my past experience. I never thought that this could ultimately be a career for me. So I was still in that mindset. And then I would start selling and then I'd have like really big weeks. But like, so I have 4 French bulldogs, if nobody already knows. And I was like, oh, let me just work. And then I just had more time to stay at home. I could be with them. So I think my first month at FFL, I made like $8,000. And then that was like super crazy. I worked, I think, less at the restaurant, but I still had both jobs. And then I kept going, and then I would go on vacation. I was like, okay, Alondra, you can't keep doing this. You obviously figured this thing out. You've seen that you can make the money that is on these podcasts and stuff. Like, why don't you just plug in? I remember I called you, and I was like, hey, so how do you get to like 20K? Like, what's the secret? And it's like, just do what you've been doing. Just buy leads more than once a month, because that's all I was doing. I'd hardly work any leads. And I remember I just got consistent, and I quit my job, and then I went full time. And I think my first week I did like over like 6,000 or 7,000, and then after that it was like I never went back.
Now, when I quit the grocery store, when I was bagging groceries, I actually liked working there. I thought it was fun. Okay, because there was some hilarious people that worked there, and we were always pranking each other and making the best out of it. But what I thought was, and I was in college, by the way, and then selling like 3 days a week. But when I ended up quitting my job, you know what the worst thing, like I go, okay, why am I scared to quit? And I'm not, by the way, I'm not telling anybody to quit their job. I am not doing that. But for me, it was, if it doesn't work, I could just go apply at some more grocery stores, and I'm going to eventually get hired at one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did you have that thought at all, or did you go, hey, I could just go to another restaurant, or maybe BJ's will hire me back, or whatever?
Well, I was waiting to get into a nursing program, Drew, and my parents didn't want me to go full time in insurance. Like, I told them about it. I was like, what if this success story could be me? Like, what if I could just do this? And they were like, no, don't do it. Like, you already did all your schooling. Like, you're just waiting to get into a program. So I had just applied to get into a nursing program. So I was like, well, you know what? I can just cut down my days at the restaurant, and then I can just work all day in the morning, because I was working, like, I'd go to work anyway in the evenings. So I was like, let me just do this and see what happens after the first month. Because I already have, like, if it doesn't work out, and I get into nursing program, I'll just continue with nursing. And it's fine. Like, I have nothing to lose. So it was after my first month that I was just mind blown. I remember I went to my parents, and I was like, I was in tears, because my dad told me, no, don't do insurance. Like, don't do it. You already had a bad, like, taste at the other company that I came from. And
Your dad told you this.
My dad and both my parents. Like, I was in tears, Drew. I remember that phone call. I called my dad. I'm like, what if this could work out? Like, I sell part-time. Like, I make, like, good money. Like, and I'm hardly working.
Insurance has a bad reputation, man.
It does. And I remember, like, I went to them and I showed them my deposits. I'm like, I'm not doing nursing, and this is why. Like, this, and then after that, like, they never said anything to me. And now it's so crazy, because they'll bring it up to me, and they're like, could you imagine? Like, thank God you have a thing for not listening to us, and you just do what you want to do. Like, and, like, we can guide you, but whatever you put your mind to is you're just going to do it. And now I think they're like my biggest supporters. They understand everything. Like, I mean, they call me every month. Hey, what did you guys issue? Like, how's it going? Like, they're so supportive, and it's, they're joining the business with us.
You know what's funny? So the FFL started out to make money for me, and then it became like this war for me against the industry, because it has a bad reputation, because there's a few companies or a few situations that take advantage of people. Nobody makes money. It's only about recruiting, low compensation, so the guys at the top are making money. They lock you into contracts so you can't leave. They steal your renewals when you leave. They bully people with no money. They tell you to call your friends and family. And now I'm like on this, just like, I just want to destroy everything that has anything to do with that by sharing how good Family First Life is and the way everything works, and your story, and all the people that come in story, because it doesn't have to be like that. You know what I'm saying?
100%. I remember when I shared with the other company that I was leaving, they had they brought district managers and stuff, and sat me down and had a conversation with me. And they're like, well, you found yourself a great part-time job, right? That's good. And then you have this stability. And then ever since then, dude, like, I can't hear the word stability again. Like comfort
Are you talking about your company that told you not to quit?
Yeah,
That you just recently quit like a few months ago?
Yeah, literally they were like trying to tell me about all these opportunities.
So you hate the word stability.
Can't stand it.
What would you prefer? Like chaos or something?
No, man. I mean, what we do is I think you have to strive, right? Like I came here for the American dream. My parents, when we immigrated to this country, moved here for the American dream, whatever that American dream was. Right? For my parents, it was for me to go to college. I can't tell you, like when I graduated college, they're like, okay, you're set. Everything's gonna be great in life. You don't have anything to worry about. And obviously, it requires a heck of a lot more work after that, right? But that was their only goal. So for me, I could have been. We could. How many people that we know today, right? Just work, do their whole thing. They work Monday to Friday, enjoy their weekends, which is great, right? Like you said, like everybody has to do that in their own way. But how many of those people are just comfortable because they're getting that check that they know it's guaranteed? They know they're worth more than that, right? And every time they interview for promotion, they get very upset about it, but then they just keep doing the same thing. So I just felt like a hamster wheel, like just going back and forth, back and forth.
Same thing.
I couldn't do it anymore.
So it's just, this is like good for your soul in a way.
I enjoy, like I know that this is a proven system. Like it's just not that hard. Like you guys, the founders, like the people, the original people that came here did it. Like you guys found the way. Now we have the secret sauce, right? Which is just follow step 1, 2, and 3. Like it's just not rocket science. If you keep it that simple,
Now,
you're good.
when you were quitting and they were telling you this, what were you thinking?
I was scared.
Oh, they freaked you out.
Well, that's not why I was scared. I was scared because
Or you were already freaked out.
I had hesitations, not because I had made the money. Like, I mean, $12,000 in a month for me was like, whoa, hang on, what's going on here? That's more than I've made in a month in probably my whole life. That's way more than my parents and myself combined made, probably ever, right? But I was still scared because of my previous experience in insurance.
Oh, and it going bad.
Yeah.
So now, how many months in are you with FFL?
Full-time 2, part-time 2.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And has anything changed?
Yeah, 100%. We're building. I understand the bigger picture, that it's. See, people when you say, "Oh, you're growing your team," all we're doing is inviting people to the best opportunity out there.
Which it is.
Like I know it. We all know it. You said it right. I think people have such a bad image of insurance because of how many people have failed in this industry, right? I mean, what was the number? Like 9 out of 10 previously would fail. And then we're in this opportunity now, and it's like, you can't fail. I mean, if you don't do the work, like everybody asks me, so how have you done it? I'm like, well, I put money on my credit card, or like I bought leads with my credit card, and I just called those people, and then I went to go meet them. The people that fail here is the ones that think they're smarter than the system, and they want to go create their website before they've even bought leads to go like, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Dude, if you're watching this, how about the guy that did a $5,000 door hanger campaign and got 0 sales from it? And it said like Billy's Insurance Company on it. Get a quote from Billy's Insurance Company because the guy's name's Billy. I'm like, bro, you're not gonna. He goes, yeah, insurance doesn't work. I'm like, bro, you did a door. Who told you to do that? Well, I did the math. I hired a bunch of kids to go put these door hangers out. I'm like, dude, you're so smart. You're actually a complete moron.
Yep.
You can't be smarter than the system.
How about the people that are smarter than everything? It's like, okay.
Yeah.
See, but we only have so much energy, like patience in a day. And one thing that I'm learning very quickly here is I think of the word rescue, right? I want to go out there and rescue everybody that's working 50, 55 hours, 60 hours a week for like their $40,000 a year. But then I realized that that's partly my responsibility, right? But I only have so much to give in a day. And I'm going to continue to do things like this to promote how real this is, because everybody that knows me knows like I'm only going to be doing something that's...
And they know you ain't going to lie.
No, there's no reason to lie here. I mean, I've posted my bank statements on my Facebook before, like, and people are like, whoa. And even then, there's still like hesitation. So I'm like, man, what else can I do?
It is hard if you put yourself in their shoes. it's hard to not be hesitant
It's a
with
scam.
all the stuff that people recruit for. There's so much stuff that people recruit for. It's like everywhere you look, somebody's trying to befriend you to then recruit you. It's like, yo, whoa, I thought we were just hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you hit me with, sign up for this.
Just piggyback during in the insurance industry. Like I remember when where I was at before, the way they make you just what you have to do for this comp raise. Like I think people don't understand how good we have it here. Because I remember I went in I guess the last day of the month is when everybody tries to slam in a bunch of recruits, and the way they tell your people is hey, and we were brand new. This is my first taste of insurance, and they just hand me a list and they say, I need your top 25 people, and you need to call them in all today, and they all need to come in for your training. And I'm like, okay, this is really weird. And then he's like, and now all of them, now you need to make another list of people that you want to share the same opportunity with them, and you need to get them to pay $150 today. And I that same day, and I remember it was Josh's birthday, and I had to call. I mean, you're new. I didn't know. I had no idea. And I'm like, well, I see all these people supposedly making money. They're driving nice cars. I don't know any better. And I remember I called my family in, and all my dad was like, so you're telling me you need to get 10 people to pay $150 all today if you want to get a 50%? So if you want to go from your 40, 30% to a 50%, you have to get these 10. I'm like,
today?
Yeah, today.
What if it was tomorrow?
Drew, so what they tell you to do, and I'm like, how am I supposed to find 10 people to pay $150 in one day? And they said, well, you have a credit card, start calling all the people that you know, have them give your information, and you sponsor their way through. So I had to call. I mean, what do? You don't know any better, and I didn't know anything. So I remember I started calling my grandma and my aunt, and I'm like, can I just put your name down? I guess I have to register you so I can get this promotion. And they said, I will pay for it. I just need your information.
Yeah, dude. Crazy. So we need to keep sharing what we're doing because there's no stupid, weird games like that.
Mm-hmm.
How much money, how much money do you think you spent out of your own pocket to sponsor people?
But you know what's crazy?
Does your grandma still sell?
No, that was so crazy. But my parents, obviously, they all helped. So that's the experience they thought about this. So that's why they thought all insurance was. They thought every insurance company was the same.
So your parents didn't want you to work here because of that?
They thought that's how every insurance company did.
Now here, you don't have to recruit anybody.
No, but...
And Family First Life pays for your stuff, so no one pays to join nothing.
It's free. That's why I feel people, whenever they come on board, I'm like, you have no idea how good you have it here. And think every day, money is not... It comes to a point where it's it's not the motivator. It's obviously, how many people can I save, to not pay that. Now I think it's $200 at these companies. It's seriously? They can use that for leads.
There's one company, it's a $50,000 franchise fee.
But you know what's crazy, Drew? With as you start building a team and you hear stories mine was only a couple $1,000s. There's people, Drew, out there that have $50,000 in credit card debt because of these fake sponsors so they can get their 75% contract. Can you believe that? And here our starting comp is 90 for free.
100.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, 100.
It was 90.
Yeah, they keeps getting better. Top comp 145.
That's crazy.
We just have it so good here, and there's not enough people in the industry that know how well it can be.
Well, we're going to keep stirring the pot. It's just this weird thing that we just enjoy doing.
I mean,
we have to save them all.
We did it in a video, and I saw this in a video, but this is what I tell people. I'm like, look, guys, how many of us would want to, when Amazon started, right, would do anything to get on Amazon stock right now, right? How many of us, if you believe in Bitcoin, would love to have some Bitcoins that we spent pennies on?
Don't talk about Bitcoin.
I heard that. I heard your story. But that's what we are. I mean, we are the Ubers and we're changing the industry. When I watch these podcasts, that was so clear to me. Everything Andrew said was about changing it. And I was like, dude, he's your conviction level in changing this industry is what really, in a way, attracted me to it. Because I was like, dude, I want to be part of the change, not part of this continuing $2,000 in sponsorships.
Door knocking, 30% comp, contracts, bunch of crap.
Yeah, the contracts, I'm like, I don't even know what I signed. They just said, hey, put your initials there and there. And I was like, dude, I'm fairly young. I don't know. I just did it. But you live and you learn, you know, and I'm so thankful for all that.
But it's such a revolving door that it's super cool to be able to come in and like we've rescued so many people from our team who've had an insurance license and they just quit. Like they got the license and they just come on board and like they're like, oh well, here we actually get to you teach me how I can go sell a policy, go help families.
Yeah.
So we're able to save so many people who already have the license or just not even using it.
I'm looking forward to hiring people with no license. I'm enjoying that more and more every day because they don't have a bad experience. And so like I would say like we're on a mission to help people in the industry that have had a bad experience, but we're also on a mission to help people that are not happy doing whatever they're doing in the corporate world too. Mm-hmm. How many millions of people do you think they're in this revolving or they're in this rat hamster wheel? And they're just like every day, they're like, man, maybe there's something more I can do. And they want to do part-time. How many people do you think it is?
Millions. Without a doubt. I mean, think about corporate America. Like, and now.
How many people are there in America?
Well, that I got
You're
a
the
master's,
teacher.
but no, I'm not. Yeah, you beat me there. But a lot. And I would say that most of those people are working by necessity, not because of joy. Right? Even doctors and lawyers and everybody that has to go to these schools, right? I think they enjoy it at first, but then it just becomes work.
I think I would enjoy being a doctor.
Yeah?
Like helping somebody or like saving their life or something.
Yeah, but then
that'd
when
be
you
that'd be pretty dope.
Dude, my best friend is a doctor in Portland, and I won't ever forget. I don't really do medicine. Like, I don't do blood. Like, that's not. He was a year ahead of me, and he called me when he got into med school, and he's like, dude, you won't believe what I just did. And I'm, like, super busy, like, doing something. And he's like, I just cut open a human brain. And I was like, how is that information going to help me at all today? Like,
All right, so
I can't do that.
dude, so you had a COVID baby, right? Like
100%.
Was it weird having a baby during COVID?
Yes.
So us too, and it was low stat. They were low on staff. So the doctors like treating me like I'm a nurse, bro. Like I wasn't gonna look. And then they're like, hold her leg, hold this, all this stuff. Like tell them, sending me around the room to get like knives and stuff. I'm just like, what is going on right now, you know? And then there's a ton of blood, you know, from the situation. I did not expect that. I did not see that coming. And then the lady's like, yeah, you know, we're short-staffed or we'd have the nurse doing all this stuff, the doctor. And I'm like, oh, cool. And then...
You're scaring Alondra.
I know. Alondra's
talking about marriage
dude,
and
check
babies.
this out. The doctor goes, man, you're actually pretty good with all this blood around. Like, you're doing really good. And then I'm like, yeah, you know, whatever. Like, I wasn't thinking about it too much. And then she goes, the last dude that I did yesterday, I delivered the baby. He was helping. The husband was helping. He passed out when he saw the blood, hit his head, ended up in the emergency room, and missed the birth of his kid.
No.
Dude, that is the craziest thing I've heard. Like, my baby just, like, came out. Like, it was pretty weird. Like, the doctor wasn't in the room. A nurse just caught the baby. Like, I'm not remotely kidding. Like, I was very concerned that when I got the doctor bill, like, I'm like, but the doctor didn't deliver the baby. Like, it was like a...
Did they still bill you?
Oh, 100%. But I was like, I was the same way. I was like, dude, I'm not going to look. I even told my wife, I'm like, when the baby comes out, can you ask him to wipe it down before I go, like, retrieve the baby? And then, nah. You have this great plan, dude, and it never works out that way. Like, I was like, huh? The baby's here. I was ready for, like, a marathon, and it was... Definitely not.
That's legit. You should have some more than if it was that easy.
Hopefully. It was insane, dude. But yeah, I don't know.
So
if I
you
could
tried
do that.
having a kid for 3 years, you said?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
And
it's
you got
awesome.
this new purpose of winning and creating a
Legacy.
great life for your daughter.
100%. That's the purpose.
Now you're going to build a team, and if people want to work with you,
Mm-hmm.
they can call you. What's your phone number?
512-992-4584. That's my cell phone. My wife calls me there every day.
So, and would you say don't be shy? If you got questions about moving from corporate world here, if you got questions from moving from a different situation here, if you just want to get your license, if you're unemployed, whatever, they could call you
100%.
and you'll answer. Should they feel someone told me, they go, man, it took me like 2 weeks to call the person on the internet because I didn't want to be that guy calling. And I'm thinking like, no, that's why we're doing it. We want to help everybody.
Dude, please, I encourage it. Whatever podcast you get on and you feel like you connect with that person,
Call them.
call them.
So someone
ASAP.
might connect to you
Mm-hmm.
and they can call you
100%.
and you'll help them get going. They can be anywhere in the U.S.
Anywhere. English, Spanish, I'll help them both.
Licensed, unlicensed.
100%.
Alondra, isn't it funny? Like you go, how did Dave Witchard go from 0 to 1 point? How much does he do a month?
1.8.
1.8 million. 2 million in a month. Okay. How do you do that? And then you start talking to the people on his team. You're like, oh,
Good people who work hard.
insanely good people. That's the thing though. Good people. Everybody they didn't talk about cars. They didn't talk about houses. They didn't talk about nothing. They talked about family being most important. They talked about how they want to help their parents, their kids, whatever. Insane. Well, dude, congrats on your success, man. We're excited to work with you. You're 4 months in. We can't wait till you see where you're going to be by the end of the year.
We're going to have an agency. We're building right now. We have
What's your goal? Personal production.
Personal Production Hall of Fame. No questions asked. Write it down.
Drew, you got a question for him?
Can we shave your head if you don't hit it?
Listen, man, I barely have any hair now, but write it down.
All right, write it down.
I mean, it might actually help me, but I might just do it anyways. My hair lady told me my hair was thinning. That's very concerning. But yeah, Drew, I'm in.
Dude, I started getting gray hairs. I was freaking out. And then I just finally accepted it. I'm like, whatever. I was trying to pluck them out, Then they kept coming back even more. That's a thing.
It is.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Vengeance.
Dude, no, write it down, 100% Hall of Fame. And the reason, it's very simple. It's not for the accolades. It's not for a red jacket. It's because I have to fund my business. We don't have so I got to fund this business. We're going to have a team. I mean, end of the year, I look at the guys that have done it before me. We just have a really good team ahead of me. Dave has really set a path for us to be successful.
1 million a month.
Let's
That's
do
what
it.
he's doing.
Drew, we got to come up with something for people who like to shave their heads. Like, what could be something they do if they don't hit Hall of Fame?
Eyebrows?
Slashes in the eyebrows.
That's not bad enough.
What do you mean? Having slashes in your eyebrows? That's not bad.
No, I mean like entirely shaved off.
Oh, the whole eyebrow.
Both eyebrows. Are you kidding?
It might look weirder with just one, dude.
I don't know if I want to see anybody with no eyebrows.
I don't think I want to do that
yeah,
one.
I mean, I don't know what else. What else we got?
Maybe someone could give us some suggestions in the comments.
In the positive comments.
Yeah, the
Get a
positive comments.
tattoo.
Right. A tattoo. I've always wanted one, actually. I don't have any.
I don't have any either. You got any tattoos?
No.
Drew, do you? Yeah, you do. Factory Fresh on your arm.
Yeah, U.S.
All right, dude. Thanks for coming in, man. It's been fun. Let's